Have you noticed that much of what we see in the sales world today is antisocial? Pitch slaps, false compliments, inauthenticity, and sometimes outright disinformation? Welcome to the All Selling is Social podcast, where we look at ways that we can be social in our selling efforts, no matter how we're reaching out. Each week, we talk to top sales leaders and trainers to learn what's working for them, how we can learn to talk with people, not talk at them. Join your host, Bill McCormick, and let's develop a sales game that feels as good as it works. Let's get social.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the All Selling is Social podcast, my initial first episode where I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, who I am, as well as what this is all going to look like. So let's start with that. What's this going to look like? So the podcast is going to come out monthly, definitely, with some bonus episodes during that month. I don't want to commit to doing a weekly podcast. I just don't have the bandwidth to do that. I'm doing this all on my own, but I want to bring to you the best in social. So what does that mean? I'm a social selling trainer. I focus mainly on LinkedIn, but there's a lot to be said for social selling. And I want to bring you updated features on LinkedIn, as well as what are best practices. So you'll see videos come out during the month on those topics. And then whatever day I'm going to decide to drop this on, once a month, there'll be a new interview with some great sales leader, sales trainer, salesperson that's really killing it with being social, because that's what the focus is. And listen, this All Selling is Social all came about because I was in a period of time, I've been training people on how to use LinkedIn since 2017. I've been using the platform myself since 2014. And I got to the point where everyone was talking about how great social was. And everyone was saying it was the only way that you should be selling. And I was in that echo chamber. Have you ever been in an echo chamber? An echo chamber is when you're surrounding yourself with these ideas, and you only listen to people who support those ideas and further those ideas. And in the business sense of things, oftentimes that happens because those people are selling those ideas, right? And I found myself in that space where I was saying one thing, like, hey, LinkedIn's the way to go. It's the only way you should be selling. But then when I was talking to prospects, I was finding they were doing things differently that was working for them, right? Whether it was cold calling on the phone or mass emailing or something to that nature. And it woke me up to say, wait a minute, we use this term social selling as if it's some magic bullet, but really, isn't there a social element to every sales methodology there is? Don't we have to be social? And it got me to thinking back when I was a kid. I grew up in the 70s, basically. And I say basically because I was born in 63. So the first few years of my life were in the 60s. I don't like saying that, but it's the truth of the matter. But I remember my parents, they would talk about relatives and people in the neighborhood who they said were anti-social. And what that meant was they were mean. Like, they were downright, if you went to their house, they would yell at you. If they were at a party, if they were like a relative, they were the ones that always said the wrong thing, right? That one person you know who just says what's on their mind, and it causes a fight, and it's not very social. And because what I see so often right now that's happening a lot in the sales world, and especially on LinkedIn, is people are being antisocial. And emails are being antisocial. Just this week, somebody reached out to me on LinkedIn and said that their team, them and their team or their team, had read my book and loved it. Here's the problem. I'm writing a book. I haven't published a book yet. So if they read my book and they loved it, I want to talk to them. I want to figure out how they got it because they had to break into my computer, right? What? Well, they were not being social. They were lying. They were, maybe telling a white lie, maybe, like they're just saying that to try to impress me. But what does that mean? That the people who do have books that they say that to, they probably didn't read their book either, right? So why are we doing things like that? And so that's what we're going to examine. We're going to look at how can we be social? How can we make sure that we're acting with people the same way across the screen, right? Through a camera, through a Zoom call, through a keyboard, right? Through to the other person on the other side of that profile. we're treating them the same way we treat them if they were sitting across the table from us. If they were standing in a group of people, across that group of people in a networking circle, talking, right? We oftentimes do and say things in the digital space that we would never say to people in the face-to-face. And this podcast is going to explore those things, uncover those things, and give us some hope and give us some strategies so that we can start engaging authentically with people. And so I'm excited to tell you about the first 2 episodes, which I'm probably not going to wait and do them 1 month apart. The first few episodes are going to come rather quickly because they're already done. I did a video course that I just finished and launched last month. It's called the Social Selling Compass. And I go over 4 different areas of LinkedIn, right? Your profile, how to create and optimize your profile, how to build a quality network, but a network of quantity and do it the right way, do it authentically, how to create content and use that content to engage your target audience and have conversations. And that's the last one, is conversations. And you can't really do PowerPoint training on conversations, right? And so I did a little bit of that, but I also brought in 2 of my good friends to interview them about having conversations. And those are the first 2 episodes of the podcast. The first is Larry Levine with Why Trust Matters. And the second is my friend Aaron Hazakostas with, authenticity in conversations. What does that look like? So I'm excited for you to hear them. And then from there, we're going to go off into the sales training world. I've got some great friends that I know that I'm going to be, some have already agreed to be on the podcast and others I'm going to be hitting up. So stay tuned here. Do me a favor, follow us wherever you follow us, connect with me on LinkedIn, go check out our YouTube page, because there you'll not only be able to hear me and hear my guests, but you'll be able to see me and you'll be able to see the great screen share videos that I do that'll train you on some of the best new features on LinkedIn and how you can best use them to be social, because that's what we want to do. We want to be social. So thanks so much for watching this. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for being a part of my network. So now let's go out and be social.